What if everything you believed about losing your vitality was actually wrong? Most gentlemen assume that waking up without firmness is simply inevitable after a certain age. However, I'm here to reveal something that might shock you. The gradual fading of your masculine strength isn't caused by getting older at all. It stems from something completely different, and remarkably, it's reversible. Right at this moment, your entire system remains fully functional, patiently waiting beneath the surface, completely capable of responding. What's needed is understanding precisely how to stimulate 4 specific zones on your anatomy that, when properly engaged, can revive natural firmness without medications, devices, or embarrassment. I'm Dr. Charles Bennett, a urologist specializing in men's sexual wellness for those in their golden years, with 3 decades of clinical experience helping gentlemen in their 60s, 70s, and 80s rediscover vigor and circulation they believed had vanished forever. What I'm preparing to demonstrate requires no prescription, just your hands, controlled breathing, and a commitment to consistency. Here's what might astonish you most. These 4 zones exist right on your own anatomy. Yet, countless gentlemen spend entire lifetimes never activating them intentionally. These aren't folklore or wishful thinking. They represent medically validated stimulation points for circulation, nerve response, and masculine vitality. Once you discover how to utilize them properly, transformation begins. Stay with me, because shortly I'll guide you through each location and demonstrate how to integrate them with 6 straightforward practices that multiply your outcomes exponentially. Before we proceed further, if you haven't joined this channel, now's your opportunity. Click that subscribe button and activate notifications so you receive powerful natural wellness guidance designed specifically for mature gentlemen. If this message resonates with you, leave a comment saying, "Ready," to confirm you're engaged. If not, simply write, "Pass." Your genuine responses help me refine this material to serve you better. Now, let's start with the foundational principle. Something I believe every gentleman past 60 deserves to understand from his physician. Let me share something rarely mentioned in medical literature, yet something I've observed across 30 years of clinical practice with mature gentlemen. Most physical changes experienced after 60 aren't indicators of malfunction. They're symptoms of disconnection. I've had strong, accomplished gentlemen enter my consultation room, lowering their voices when discussing it. "Doctor, I used to experience morning firmness like clockwork. Now I wake up feeling completely absent down there. Has something failed permanently?" My response never wavers. Nothing's malfunctioning. Your anatomy has merely gone silent, and we possess the knowledge to reawaken it. Consider this carefully. Your masculine anatomy, your circulation pathways, your nerve sensitivity, your responsiveness, everything remains present. It hasn't disappeared, but it's been neglected. Your blood vessels remain structurally sound, though they've become lethargic. Your nerve networks still exist intact, but they haven't received proper signals recently. Your physiology has simply stopped receiving the activation cues it once processed effortlessly. The tragedy? Most gentlemen internalize this as personal failure, believing they've somehow aged beyond masculine capacity. Nothing could be more inaccurate. Imagine a lamp switch untouched for years. The room remains dark. That doesn't indicate the electrical system has failed. It simply means the circuit hasn't been activated. The 4 points I'm preparing to teach you function exactly like flipping that switch. Not through forceful manipulation or aggressive pressure, but through mindful awareness, deliberate breathing, and focused intention. I've witnessed gentlemen become emotional upon feeling warmth returning to their lower anatomy. Not from physical gratification, but from renewed hope. It reminded them that vitality still exists within them, still accessible, still complete. This journey transcends mere physical function. It's about reconnecting with aspects of yourself that once defined your confidence, your identity, your masculine essence. The initial step involves relearning how to listen to your physiology because it's been communicating quietly all along. You simply haven't been shown how to interpret its language, but you will. Momentarily, I'll reveal the very first point. A concealed activation zone located just above your pelvic bone that holds the master key to reigniting your reproductive vitality. Most gentlemen have never touched this area with conscious awareness, yet once they do, changes begin manifesting, sometimes more rapidly than anticipated. There exists a specific location on the masculine anatomy that receives almost zero attention in conventional medicine. It's rarely discussed among peers, never addressed during routine checkups, and most gentlemen remain completely unaware of its significance throughout their entire lives. I'm referring to the precise spot approximately 2 inches below your navel, directly above the pubic bone. Eastern healing traditions identify this as the dantian, your body's energetic reservoir. Western anatomy recognizes this region as housing critical nerve clusters connected directly to reproductive function and bladder control. I recall a gentleman named Robert, 73 years old, a retired engineer who prided himself on logical thinking. He confessed he hadn't experienced genuine sensation in his lower region for nearly 8 years. "Doctor," he explained, "it feels like the power's been cut, and I've forgotten what normal even felt like." I introduced Robert to this primary point. My instructions were simple. You're not going to push aggressively or poke randomly. You'll simply place your palm here, apply gentle, sustained pressure, breathe deeply into your belly, and allow your anatomy to remember itself. Within 5 days, something shifted. He reported feeling subtle warmth, a faint pulsing sensation, the quiet return of awareness in an area he'd mentally abandoned. This occurred because this point functions as a biological switch, a command center that, when properly stimulated, signals your entire reproductive system to reactivate dormant pathways. What makes this technique extraordinarily powerful is its simplicity. No pharmaceuticals involved, no complicated equipment, just you, your breathing pattern, and willingness to spend 3 minutes daily with focused attention. Initially, it might feel unfamiliar, perhaps slightly awkward, but the results justify any initial discomfort. Once you begin, you'll question why this knowledge wasn't shared decades earlier. Robert messaged me 3 weeks later with 5 words. "Doctor, I feel alive again. Cease." Now, what if I revealed there's a second point, one even more overlooked than the first? It's not located on your groin area. It's not directly on your genitals. It's positioned in the space between your scrotum and anus, what Eastern medicine designates as CV1, the body's foundational energy point. Western medicine doesn't assign this area much fanfare, but trust me when I declare this. It matters profoundly for masculine circulation and nerve responsiveness. I remember a gentleman named Vincent, 68 years old, soft-spoken, a former firefighter who'd spent his career helping others. He told me he hadn't felt authentic sensation in his lower anatomy for over a decade. "Doc," he said quietly, "it's like someone disconnected the wiring, and I can't remember how to reconnect it." I introduced Vincent to this second zone. My guidance was straightforward. You're not going to manipulate or force anything. You'll simply sit on a rolled towel positioned precisely at this point. Breathe naturally, and let your physiology remember its function. Within 1 week, something remarkable began occurring. He felt warmth spreading, a subtle rhythmic pulse, the gradual return of sensation in an area he'd essentially written off as permanently numb. This happens because this point operates like a valve, a biological lock that restricts natural circulation and nerve energy flow. When you apply gentle, sustained pressure using a rolled towel or specialized cushion, the tension gradually releases. Blood that may have been partially restricted for years suddenly receives permission to flow freely again. More significantly, the nerve networks surrounding your perineum begin firing again. They remember their designated function. They re-establish communication with your brain. Gradually, sensation returns. Not instantaneously, but sufficiently to provide hope. Enough to confirm, yes, you're still present. Yes, you can still experience sensation. What's remarkable about this approach is it demands nothing except presence. No medications, no machinery, just you, your breathing rhythm, and willingness to sit in focused stillness for several minutes daily. Initially uncomfortable, perhaps, but the outcomes speak volumes beyond the awkwardness. Vincent sent me a message 2 weeks later. "Doc, I sat, I breathed, and this morning I woke up feeling like myself for the first time in years." If you've ever glanced at your inner thighs and considered them merely functional for walking, you're not alone. Most gentlemen never realize that hidden within that soft, often overlooked area lies one of the most crucial circulation highways directly connected to erectile function. I recall one patient, Marcus, 70 years old, a retired construction supervisor, mentioning he thought his thighs served only for stability and sitting. Then he discovered what I'm preparing to share, and it transformed everything. Running along the inner crease where your thigh meets your torso flows a powerful circulation and nerve pathway. Eastern medicine identifies this as part of the spleen meridian. Western anatomy recognizes this area as the location of your femoral artery and nerve, two of the primary routes your blood and neural signals travel to reach your lower reproductive organs. Yes, including your masculine anatomy. When these pathways become restricted, congested, or chronically understimulated, your erectile function loses volume, rigidity, and sensitivity. It's not that your anatomy can't function, it's simply not receiving adequate supply. Marcus began a straightforward practice. Each morning after activating the first two zones, he'd recline comfortably and use his fingertips to gently trace from the crease of his inner thigh downward toward his knee. Whenever he discovered a tender or tight spot, and believe me, he found several, he'd pause, breathe deeply into that area, and gently maintain pressure for approximately 30 seconds. Within days, he noticed increased warmth in his lower region. 1 week later, he shared something I'll never forget. "Doctor, I don't just feel more physically present. I feel more like the man I remember being." That's precisely what this third zone accomplishes. It clears the channels. It invites blood to circulate again properly. Perhaps equally important, it provides you with a sense of agency. You're not passively waiting for medication to activate. You're taking direct action with your own hands. That sensation alone carries tremendous power. It signals your nervous system that you remain connected, still capable, still in command of your own vitality. Here's what's fascinating. Many gentlemen who reactivate this inner thigh pathway report not only improved erectile function, but also enhanced sleep quality, calmer mornings, and even greater energy throughout their legs. It's as though the entire lower anatomy awakens alongside your masculine function. Now for the fourth point, one that surprises virtually everyone. It's located far from your reproductive anatomy, yet intimately connected through your body's meridian network. I'm talking about a specific spot on your inner ankle, approximately 3 finger widths above your ankle bone. In traditional Chinese medicine, this point is called Sanyin Jiao, or 3 yin intersection, where three major energy channels converge. Western medicine recognizes this area as housing significant nerve branches that communicate directly with your pelvic region through your spinal network. I had a patient named Douglas, 65 years old, a former accountant who approached everything with healthy skepticism. When I mentioned this ankle point, he actually laughed. "Doctor, you're telling me my ankle affects my manhood? That seems far-fetched." I responded, "Douglas, your entire nervous system is interconnected. This point, when stimulated properly, sends signals that help regulate blood pressure, reduce inflammation, and improve circulation specifically to your reproductive organs." He agreed to try it. Each evening before bed, he'd sit comfortably and use his thumb to apply firm, circular pressure to this point for 2 minutes on each ankle. He described feeling a slight ache, almost like a good hurt, radiating upward along his inner leg. Within 10 days, Douglas reported something unexpected. Not only did he notice improved morning firmness, but his chronic lower back tension had diminished significantly. His sleep quality improved. He felt more grounded, more present in his body overall. This fourth point works synergistically with the other three. It's like completing an electrical circuit. Each point amplifies the effects of the others, creating a comprehensive reactivation of your entire lower body's circulation and nerve response. 6 daily practices that amplify your results. Now, activating these 4 zones alone produces significant benefits, but if you want to transform temporary improvements into lasting changes, certain daily habits will multiply your outcomes tenfold. They don't demand radical lifestyle overhauls, but they do require consistency. First, deep belly breathing. Most gentlemen breathe shallowly, up in their chest, rapid and anxious. When you deliberately slow your breathing down through your nose, deep into your belly, something biochemically powerful occurs. Your blood pressure decreases, your nitric oxide production increases dramatically, and your blood vessels naturally relax and dilate. This isn't theoretical. It's established physiology. Just 5 minutes daily of focused nasal breathing can begin restoring balance throughout your entire cardiovascular system, particularly benefiting erectile function. Second, morning hydration with lemon water. I've had gentlemen look puzzled when I recommend drinking warm lemon water immediately upon waking. But after 60, your physiology dehydrates more rapidly overnight. Your blood naturally thickens during sleep hours. A simple glass of warm water with fresh lemon juice helps thin your blood sufficiently to improve morning circulation, especially to the anatomical regions you care most about. That small action, repeated daily, becomes a form of morning medicine. The vitamin C in lemon also supports healthy blood vessel walls and collagen production. Third, dark chocolate with 70% cacao. Here's a pleasant surprise. Quality dark chocolate containing at least 70% cacao is rich in flavonoids, natural compounds that improve nitric oxide production and enhance blood vessel flexibility. Just 1 small square daily, approximately 30 grams, can support cardiovascular health and erectile function. I recommend gentlemen enjoy this in the afternoon, not evening, to avoid potential sleep disruption from the mild caffeine content. It's one of the few indulgences that actually supports your goals, rather than undermining them. Fourth, reduce evening sugar intake. Sugar operates as a silent saboteur. It infiltrates your diet, especially during evening hours, and gradually damages your blood vessel walls. That after-dinner dessert or late-night snack might seem harmless, but internally, it's triggering inflammation and glycation, processes that stiffen your arteries. Reducing your sugar consumption, particularly after 6 p.m., gives your vascular system opportunity to heal naturally. When your arteries heal, Your erectile response improves proportionally. Fifth, post-dinner walking movement matters tremendously, but it doesn't require strenuous exercise. A brief, gentle walk lasting 15 to 20 minutes after dinner activates your body's venous pump system, the natural mechanism that propels blood back toward your heart and redistributes it throughout your anatomy. It's a gentle approach to maintaining blood flow precisely where it's needed, without straining your joints or overexerting yourself. This simple habit also aids digestion and improves sleep quality. Sixth, mindful touch. The manner in which you touch your anatomy during these practices carries significant weight. If you rush through the techniques with frustration or impatience, your nervous system registers that stress. However, if you approach them with care, with respect, as though tending to something valuable, your physiology responds positively. This isn't mystical thinking. It's the documented intelligence of your autonomic nervous system responding to presence versus pressure. When you treat your body with reverence, it cooperates more fully with your intentions. These 6 habits aren't merely optional enhancements. They're foundational reinforcements that help your physiology trust the process. They transform a quick technique into a sustainable, comprehensive practice that supports you consistently. After all the technical explanations, the anatomical zones, the scientific rationale, what truly brings this material to life are the authentic experiences, real accounts from real gentlemen who were initially skeptical, hesitant, perhaps even slightly embarrassed, but who took a chance on something different, something gentle, something honest. I remember a gentleman named Frederick, 76 years old, a retired postal supervisor from Ohio. He discovered my methodology late one evening while searching online, frustrated that his anatomy no longer felt like his own. He told me, "Doctor, I wasn't seeking miracles. I simply wanted to wake up one morning and feel like I still possessed value as a man." That statement resonated deeply because this transcends mere physical response. It symbolizes that quiet confidence you once carried naturally, that sense of being connected to your own energy and identity. Frederick began utilizing the 4 activation zones daily. He didn't rush the process. He didn't treat it like an obligation. He approached it like a reunion with his own physiology. Within 4 weeks, his mornings began transforming. Initially, the changes were subtle, slightly more warmth, somewhat more fullness. Then, one morning, he experienced something absent for over 12 years. Natural morning firmness, without any pharmaceutical assistance, without any expectation. Just his anatomy remembering how to respond again. Frederick wasn't alone. I've received messages from military veterans, factory workers, educators, grandfathers. One gentleman, Raymond, 71, wrote, "I don't even prioritize intimate activity anymore. I simply wanted to feel like my anatomy still responds to me. And now it does. That's enough." That's the essence of this entire approach. This isn't about chasing youth or denying reality. It's about reclaiming presence, reclaiming self-respect, reclaiming an aspect of yourself that never truly departed. It just needed your conscious attention again. What surprised me most wasn't merely the improvement in circulation or physical function. It was how these gentlemen carried themselves differently afterward, how they looked in mirrors with slightly more dignity, how their intimate relationships softened and deepened, how their sleep became more restful. Because when you reconnect to the part of yourself that feels genuinely alive, everything else follows naturally. Let me share 2 additional elements that several of my most successful patients incorporated into their daily routines with remarkable results. Arthur, a 69-year-old retired teacher, started consuming 1 small handful of raw pumpkin seeds daily. These seeds are extraordinarily rich in zinc, a mineral absolutely critical for testosterone production and prostate health. They also contain beneficial fatty acids that support healthy blood vessel function. Arthur would eat them mid-morning as a snack, often with a small piece of fruit. Within 3 weeks of combining the pumpkin seeds with the 4 activation zones, he reported noticeably improved morning firmness and overall energy levels. "Doctor," he said, "I feel like I've found a missing piece of the puzzle." Similarly, I recommended pure pomegranate juice to a patient named Philip, 72 years old. Research demonstrates that pomegranate juice significantly increases nitric oxide availability in your bloodstream, which directly supports erectile function by promoting blood vessel dilation. Philip would drink 4 ounces of pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice each morning. He combined this with his lemon water practice, alternating between the two. The antioxidants in pomegranate juice also protect your blood vessels from oxidative damage, essentially helping reverse some of the vascular aging that contributes to erectile difficulties. Philip reported within 1 month, "The combination of the activation points, the walking, and this juice has given me results I honestly didn't believe possible at my age." Quote, "If there's one principle I've learned after 3 decades working with mature gentlemen, it's this. Genuine breakthrough doesn't emerge from doing something once. It manifests from showing up with intention repeatedly. That's what transforms a technique into a transformation. That's what makes healing feel authentic and sustainable. You've just learned something most gentlemen spend entire lifetimes never discovering. That your anatomy, even after all these years, still remembers how to respond. You've learned precisely where to apply pressure. You've learned how to breathe intentionally. You've learned that your inner thigh contains a forgotten circulation highway. That your perineum isn't just anatomy, it's a biological switch. That just above your pelvic bone lies the quiet command center of your masculine function. And that your ankle holds a surprising key to unlocking lower body vitality. You've also discovered that seemingly small things, a glass of lemon water, controlled breathing, gentle touch, dark chocolate, pumpkin seeds, pomegranate juice, can carry tremendous power when practiced with consistency and care. But what matters now transcends merely knowing. It's choosing to transform these tools into something sacred. Not a chore, not a quick fix, but a daily ritual, a method of communicating to your physiology. I'm present, I haven't abandoned you, and I'm ready to listen again. I think of gentlemen like Frederick, like Vincent, like Marcus, like Douglas, who didn't just wake up with improved function. They woke up to themselves again. They didn't chase youth. They reclaimed connection. And if you're still here right now, I believe you're prepared for that transformation as well. This journey isn't about reversing time. It's about moving forward with strength, with grace, and with the quiet power of a gentleman who knows he still possesses more life to experience, more vitality to express, more mornings ahead than he previously imagined. So, wherever you are presently, at home, in bed, or sitting quietly, I hope you'll take this knowledge and transform it into something meaningful. A moment each day reserved just for you. A ritual rooted in breathing, in touch, in presence. Because once you commit to this practice, you'll discover what countless others have. Your strength never departed. It was simply waiting to be remembered, waiting for you to call it back home. If you found value in this message, subscribe to this channel for more natural health guidance designed specifically for mature gentlemen. Leave a comment sharing which of the 4 zones surprised you most. And remember, this information is for general knowledge only. It doesn't replace evaluation by a qualified healthcare professional. If you have specific concerns or symptoms, consult your specialist. Your vitality is still there. It's time to bring it back to life.